There are potentially 15 prospects playing in this Texas first Clemson matchup if some of these juniors declare. Let's take a look at them. Welcome back, guys. I am David Syvertson from Our Lads Scouting Services. We're going to go over some of the prospects that I expect to see in the 2025 NFL Draft in this upcoming game, Texas and Clemson. Let's start off when Clemson has the ball. There isn't much on that side of the ball to get too excited about, especially with quarterback Cade Klubnik announcing that he will return to Clemson for the 2026 season. At running back, we do have Phil Mafah, a 6-foot, 225-pound back, third-team All-ACC. He hit over 2,000 yards after the past 2 years combined. Prior to this season, he was the Thunder to Will Shipley's Lightning before he departed for the NFL. I have a day 3 projection. I'm not too excited about him, but he is an NFL back. He has a very similar feel and style to Audric Estime from Notre Dame last year, who ended up going in the 5th round to the Denver Broncos. This is a big physical back, but he does lack some juice and overall agility. At tight end, this is one of my guys, Jake Brittingstool, 6'5", 235 pounds, also third-team All-ACC, the team's second leading receiver. He's actually going to leave Clemson as the all-time leading pass catcher at the tight end position. I have a round 3/4 projection on him right now. He did get an invite to the Senior Bowl. Really looking forward to watching him there. I just love the size and fluidity that he has. He's very quick to turn upfield post-catch and gain some quick yards. He's got a very snappy element to his movement. He does need to get stronger, though, if he's going to be anything more than a move tight end and potentially be a starter. So let's move to the Texas defensive side of the ball. I got a bunch of names. I'm going to try to breeze through these guys, spend a little bit more time on the top ones. But at corner, we have one of my top guys in the draft. This is going to be Jahdae Barron, 5'11", 195. Thorpe Award winner, nation's top defensive back, by the way. 8 career interceptions. He has not allowed a touchdown all season. Right now, I have a day 2 projection on him. He could sneak into the end of round 1. He offers the defense a ton of options. He can split time between the outside corner and the slot. He could even play some safety. He's got some Cooper DeJean in him, who's actually starting to make a late season surge for the NFL defensive rookie of the year. This is the kind of skill set that I think he brings to the table. Inside, there's a lot of bodies to keep an eye on inside. Defensive tackle Alfred Collins, 6'5", 313 pounds, just another body added to this really deep group of interior defensive linemen. He's one of the more experienced defensive linemen in the entire class. I have a day 3 projection on him. Could sneak into round 2, end of day 2. Very versatile. He's lined up all over the line all years of his career. He's got a thick and long NFL body. He has shown some variety in his pass rush this year, but he does lack some twitch and explosion, and that pad level at that height can kind of rear its ugly head at times, and he does get pushed around. I wish he had a little bit more anchor to him in the run defense, but he's very tools rich, and the NFL loves those tools. So at the edge, we have Darren Sorrell, 6'4", 260. It's another experienced defensive lineman. He had a big year this year. He's finished first or second on this team in pressures each of the past 3 seasons. I have a day 3 projection on him. He can move inside on passing downs. He's great with his hands, and he knows how to bend. The studs are there for him to be a really solid rotational defensive lineman at the next level. At safety, we have a transfer from Clemson. It's going to be fun to watch. A little bit of a revenge game here. And Andrew Makuba, 6'1", 195. He was an immediate starter for Clemson back there in 2021. Finished 3rd-team All-SEC this year with 4 interceptions, day 3 projection. One of the most experienced players in this class. Just a right place, right time mental fit for an NFL defense. Not sure he has enough physical tools to be considered a projected starter. We'll see. The last one, borderline undrafted free agent, but I did want to throw his name out there because I do like his tape, and it's defensive tackle Vernon Broughton, 6'4", 305, rotational guy, day 3 projection. Again, has been over 10% pressure rate 3 straight years. There's something there. There's a skill set and an NFL body to work with. So let's stick with Texas. When they get the ball, this is where we're going to have to really dial in. Obviously, you have the quarterback, Quinn Ewers, 6'2", 209. He's a former number 1 overall recruit. We've talked about him a ton. We will continue to talk about him in the coming months. He started off at Ohio State. I currently have a mid-round projection on him. This has just not been the year that we were hoping for, that many were hoping for. That much is obvious. He went backwards in pretty much every single important metric that we use in evaluation. His passer rating, yards per attempt, turnovers, performance versus pressure, everything went in the wrong direction. And most importantly to me anyway, he got hurt, missing games for the third straight season, and his body is one of the concerns I have. Can he truly hold up in the NFL? He has not proven he can hold up at the college level. At tackle, we have two underclassmen who have not declared yet. I'm very confident this first one will, because he could be the first lineman taken. It is Kelvin Banks, 6'4", 324 pounds. He is the winner of the Outland Trophy and the Lombardi Award. He could be a guard at the next level. I think he'll get a shot at tackle. Some are saying he's got a Tristan Wirfs 2.0 to him. Some actually labeled him as a guard coming out of Iowa. Now he's one of the best left tackles in the game. I'm not there at that level with him in terms of putting a Tristan Wirfs label. I had him graded very high coming out of Iowa. I don't have Banks there, but there is an upside here. There is a lot of talent. And the fact that I could project him to play both inside, outside, a la Tyler Smith, and maybe move to the outside later on in his career, I think that might be an ideal fit for him. He's probably going to be a top 15 pick because of the position he plays and the lack of talent at tackle in this year's class. The other side of the line, Cameron Williams, 6'5", 335. This guy is a no doubt NFL tackle, but this was his first year as a starter. He just doesn't have a lot of experience. I would love to see him go back to school next year. He could be a number one overall tackle next year if he progresses where he is right now. At this current moment, if he's in this draft right now, I have a top 45 projection, so a day 2 pick most likely. This is a weak tackle class, though, and these guys could get bumped up, especially if some of the other tackles get bumped inside. Under 1,000 career snaps, like I said earlier, that's a little too little for me to really be confident about. But again, Amarius Mims, Fashanu last year, those guys weren't very experienced either. He did get penalized way too much. And that's where some of the inexperience and kind of baby deer movement shows up, where he's just not a very coordinated athlete yet. He's very, very young though. But when it comes to his projection and the natural gifts that he has, he just got better and better as the year went on. And you could see those gifts really be brought to the surface. And that's the kind of player that you need at the next level playing tackle. The one thing I don't like about him, though, is his worst tape came against his best competition. And that's something I personally weigh a lot in evaluation. So, again, I project him to be a day 2 pick, but I would like to see him go back to school. Isaiah Bond, another guy, I'm not sure if he's going to come out. He was one of my top 20 players in the country coming into this year. 5'11", 180. He's an Alabama transfer. He tried to come in and replace Xavier Worthy, essentially, another Blazer. Bond has that kind of speed, by the way, that Worthy caliber speed. He's been clocked sub 10.5 in the 100 meters. That will translate to low 4.3s, maybe even somewhere in the 4.2s. But he's also a productive football player. It wasn't what I wanted, but that speed kills. And the production, there was one thing I really do think the NFL is going to like in his game. It's yards after catch, 8.1 yards after catch per reception. That ranked 10th in the Group 4 this year. That will be one of the best in the entire draft class when we get that final list of names. He went cold late in the year, and he never really took over games. And for a first-round receiver, which is where I had him projected, you kind of need to do that. He hasn't had more than 4 catches or 60 yards in a game since Mississippi State on September 28th. So it's been a little bit of a rough go. I still think you're projecting upside and impact on him. The other receiver that has gone in the other direction, he's actually kind of took over the wide receiver room while Bond kind of flatlined. And this is Matthew Golden, a 6'195" transfer from Houston, where he set the program record for touchdowns by a true freshman in 2022. He seems to have taken over the number 1 role in this passing game. He's a big-time punt returner, kick returner as well. Day 2, maybe early day 3 projection. But I'll tell you what, if he tests well, if you match this tape up with Bond, you have to say that they're at least on the same level right now, and some might even prefer this kind of size and play style. He dropped 1 pass all year, and he caught an amazing 70% of his contested targets. That is a huge number for a guy at this size. Running back, one of my favorite players, Jadon Blue, 5'10", 200 pounds. He backed up future NFL starters for 2 years. He is a junior, so I'm not sure if he's going to come out, but I do want you to keep an eye on him because I think he's one of the best pass game value backs in this class. He's got 31 catches, 4 touchdowns, huge weapon in the screen game. He's excellent in space. And Texas likes to use him in a lot of different areas in that passing game. Last one is tight end Gunnar Helm. Kind of came out of nowhere this year, 6'5", 252. He is the team's #1 receiver. I just talked about 2 guys that will be in the NFL at some point. This guy caught and out-received both them. He had 3 more catches in each of the last 8 games. He truly is the focal point. He reminds me a little bit of what Cade Otton was coming out of Washington, currently starting for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Early day 3 pick. Could make his way up with a strong Senior Bowl performance because he does have a little bit more blocking presence. He can really impact the running game as well. And to wrap it up, the Clemson defense, not too much to get too excited about yet. They have a couple of future guys I'm really happy really excited to scout next year. But I have 2 guys for that you can keep an eye on in the front 7, especially linebacker Barrett Carter, 5'11", 233. This kid showed up to Clemson as a 5-star recruit to play safety. Quickly translated to linebacker. He's a 3-year starter, 2-time All-ACC, 2024 All-American. Day 2 projection. But this is a Patrick Queen clone. And he's got over 30 career tackles for a loss. He makes a ton of plays behind the line of scrimmage. When love or hate Patrick Queen, the guy's still in the league after being first-round pick, just got signed to a contract in Pittsburgh. He's still the personality of any defense he's on. That's who I think Barrett Carter could be. There are some size and length limitations to his game, but I do think he could be a stud and a focal point for a defense and an energy physical leader. DeMonte Capehart is the last name we're going to talk about. He's a defensive tackle, underwhelming year, 6'4", 320. He's a 5th-year senior. He was an unknown until the end of 2023. Then he started to break out, and I got pretty excited about him heading into the 2024 season, but he did not take that step up. He's got an offseason arrest on his record. He simply did not show up as a pass rusher, but he is big, he is strong, he is physical, and there is some impressive tape centered around the pass rush repertoire, especially back in 2023. I have to think a body like this that will probably get drafted at some point late day 3 because he is usable and there is an upside. So that does it for most of the prospects that I want you guys to watch in this Texas Clemson game. Come back for more. I will have we will have the rest of the games ready for you guys. We already posted the other 2, and we'll have the last one ready to go tomorrow. Enjoy the game.